Hello, hello. I can't hear. Hmm.
That's because I was muted. Hey, welcome. Means probably I was talking into the void and nobody heard me, and it was
I'll,
just me
I'll,
tapping my gums.
oh well, like maybe I needed my headset. Let me just go get the
Nope,
headset real
nope. That was the host's air right now. I,
quick.
I screwed that all the way up.
That's all right.
Here, hold on. Yeah, now you're here now.
Oh,
Hey,
well,
Renee,
then
why
I'm
don't you tell
going.
us a little bit about Bengali and how you got the creative juices flowing to form this character and develop this character in the literary form, which is now a full-fledged three-issue comic book, a full story arc now.
Well, I was inspired just pretty much by the way the mask looked. It had like this dark presence about it,
Yeah.
and it just gave me that vibe, like oh, like it kind of like the mask. Once it was on, I was thinking like maybe it reveals to you like your innermost like darkest thoughts about yourself. Like you think, oh no, I'm a good person, but the mask
Right.
shows you that you have the void inside you as well. No matter what, no matter how much you try to be shining, in the light, your shadow's darker. So with that, he tries to fight that darkness inside him and try to be the good person that he knows he can be.
Right. And do you think like think the presence, the deity, the entity inside the Bengali mask has a fair shot trying to corrupt Benny, the current host of the mask?
Well, slowly it starts learning, like it starts learning, oh, well, maybe this is a way to be good, but at the same time, it does good in its own way, but it's still in the corrupt sort of manner. And because of that, it slowly starts eating away at Benny, and he starts thinking the way the man starts thinking until they become one entity and whole, and Benny ends up losing himself to the darkness.
Yeah, but I guess it could also be said that Bengali gets lost in Benny too, with the purity of Benny's soul and demeanor. Um,
Oh yes.
I think there's a nice little dichotomy going on with his characters, like who's going to corrupt who first, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. It's a
Um,
battle of wills.
yeah, it is. So
Yeah.
you got like this ancient deity that exists before the Big Bang and creation of the universe, and he's up against like the one human soul that could probably like, hey, you know what, this good thing is probably not so bad.
Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. It does see that because it starts working with them instead of fighting with them, as it shows
Yeah,
in the beginning. Yeah.
and it doesn't really seem like when at least in this first story arc. I have privileged information, being the president. I get to see like, oh man, like two, three story arcs deep, and how this story plays out, which is amazing, by the way. So I hope you all stick around for the ride.
Oh yes, yes.
Um,
We got some great stuff coming.
there's some awesome stuff coming. There's a lot of man versus man, man versus nature, man versus society, man versus external self. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in these stories, and it's up to you, fair listener, fair viewer, fair soon to be backer of this campaign.
Indeed.
You're going to keep these stories going, which is amazing. We're going to keep pumping them out. We just got to find new ways to fund them if it doesn't mean, you know what I mean? Because we're not going to stop, can't stop, won't stop
Nope, nope,
as we
nope.
push forward.
Indeed,
No, it's
yeah.
really good. Um, Now, me and Renee have been working on Bengali since 2018, 2017, somewhere around there.
Yeah, just shaping him,
Um,
shaping out to be the character that we wanted to make.
yeah, absolutely. The shell of who he is, what he looks like, came from Clint Scott.
Hmm.
He was a friend of mine. Um, Decided he didn't want to do anything with the character anymore, so he sold it to me. But the original background that he had for him was, God, it was ultra depressing, man. Like I read the his script and I was like ready
Hmm.
to hang myself in the closet, you know. Um, but after talking to him and buying the look is really what I bought off of him was the mask and the character design, an empty shell, if you will, a husk,
Yeah.
and then I brought it over to Renee. I'm like, hey man, we got to fill this dude with some substance.
Oh yeah, that
So
was more than happy. I fell in love with the character.
yeah, he had a lot of potential in the beginning. I think he still has a lot of potential right now, and
Mhm.
I think my favorite part is when we introduced him in War Drums, and we had the idea of making him a larger entity within the Apogee universe, and how that all kind of like fits together. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah. The long run, the plans that we have for this character is going to be amazing, and it's going to floor a lot of people. It's going to floor a lot of our fans.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I know we're kind of like tooting our own horns here, but just from the looking at it from a fan perspective, I think it's a great character. I think it shows a lot about who we are as people and how our willpower is, and how corruptible we are, and also how strong we are in that face of that corruption. I think that
Mm.
your storytelling in the previous two issues, where he's tempted with to fully let go and
Yes.
let the entity in the mask take complete control, um, kind of shows how powerful we are as a species, I guess. You know,
Oh
because that's
yeah, I
what
know.
Zedagoth is looking at. Is we're like some little flea tick species of that's a slap in the face of what he wanted for his universe till the
Oh
first light
yeah.
out.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we got 4 viewers right now, which is pretty good for a late Tuesday night. Um, damn,
Yeah.
it's midnight over where you're at right now out in
Oh
Texas.
yeah, it is. It is.
Thank you for being with us. Thanks for having a shot of
Yes,
coffee
yes.
or
Thank you,
two.
guys. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Renee Garza, for those of you who are just tuning in,
Yes, Rene Garza. Yeah.
staff writer, co-creator of Bengali. Been writing
Mm,
Bengali since the beginning. Um,
mm.
been doing a great job. Here we're on issue 3, which is already a marvel within indie comics. Most indie books don't put out a third issue, let alone a second one. Here we are on issue 3, and we're going strong. How do you feel about that?
I feel extremely happy. I feel that it's completing the first arc of Bengali, and it's like giving me more ideas of how to continue his story arc, which I already have. I've been writing notes nonstop all day and well every day pretty much.
All day, every day since 2018. Holy
Yep.
crap!
No. It just it inspires me to create like better storytelling. It inspires me to become a better writer, and just it's an amazing character that I can't wait to show our fans more of our of these great stories that we pump out that we create here at Apogee.
Right? Yeah. We're definitely focused on the fans and the lore and mythology that we've been creating within these characters since, well, 5 years ago. I
Yeah.
see you're wearing a Bengali T-shirt. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that with the Apogee and everything. Yeah. Um, we do have a shirt similar to that. It's up as one of the rewards. It's the issue 3 cover. It's a cover T-shirt.
Ooh.
So it'll say Bengali, but it's definitely the cover for issue 3.
Mhm.
Mark McHale says Brit here. He means British, part of the United Kingdom, and
Oh,
it's 6
hey.
a.m. So he's up and early watching our shenanigans right now. He's bright
What's
and
up?
refreshed, and we're fighting going to bed.
I'm
Thanks
tempted
for
to
jumping on, Mark.
make some coffee right now.
Making some coffee. I got a mix of Gatorade and bourbon right here. So like nobody doesn't know what to do. Are we hydrating, dehydrating? What's going on here? We're supposed to have Rich Parada on. He's also on in the UK, and I also know that it's pretty early morning for him. So if he does happen to join us,
Mr.
be great.
Rich.
If not, I hope he had pleasant dreams, and when he wakes up, we're funded. But we still have
Dreaming of
1 hour
daffodils and
and
sugar plums.
yeah, sugar plum dreams and fairies and whatnot. It's great. We got 4 people watching. We got 2 likes already across the multiple
Nice.
platforms in which we're streaming right
Nice.
now. Talking about Bengali issue 3. Um, did you plan all 3 issues out, this first story arc out all together, or did you like do the first issue and you're like, oh crap, people are liking this, I got to continue on and kind of continue from there?
Well, like I guess me starting off because Bengali was my first comic book that I ever written and like my
Yep.
first story that I ever production. I was, I was nervous, and I was still, I'm like, okay, how can I top this? How can I make it better? I'm like, I need to create more villains for him, and I created Genbu for the second issue, which I have a lot in store with
I
Genbu
like
versus
Gen Boo.
Bengali.
I
Yeah.
liked his well, I like of course I liked his design. I designed it, but
Mhm.
um no, but
And
he yeah, he was awesome in the second issue, and I was like, oh, how come he's not in the third issue?
oh no, it's gonna be revealed in the fourth issue what he's been up to, because he Bengali's got the intention of the Umbra, which is the assassin organization that briefly
Right,
is mentioned in issue two, and they want the mask. They want the mask as well. They know it's a mask because they've heard legends and stories when they were kids about some ancient evil mask. In each culture, the mention of the Bengali mask is mentioned in some form of another, and well, they
like
want that
ancient
power too.
texts and mythologies. There's mention
Yeah.
of this character,
Yeah, there's mention
or
of
at
the
least the
mask in
mask.
each of the stories, briefly or
Oh,
referencely towards something like reference towards the mask. And well, he's gonna get the attention of that assassin organization, and they're gonna come after him as well.
oh wow. So you've done a lot of world building in regards to like secondary characters, organizations, things
Hmm.
like that to further the plots in future issues.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh
Okay.
yes.
You want to give us a little bit of insight of what's to come after issue three? Is there anything that we haven't seen in the previous three issues that we can look forward to in the next
Well,
three, four?
in the second arc, I have planned that it's gonna show that the darkness is gonna come right after Benny and the mask, and it wants to corrupt, and it wants to corrupt the mask and break it. So there's an evil entity coming towards him after him.
Wow, that's exciting stuff.
Mhm.
So there's the entity itself wants to break the mask, or there's entities outside of the mask that's kind of like wants to corrupt it even further, like trying to push a.
Well, that same darkness that created the mask, that created the Bengali, it wants that power back. So
Okay.
it's being corrupted by the light by Benny. So it
Right.
wants to destroy that, and it wants to create a new avatar of chaos, a new avatar of
Oh,
darkness.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, like if you're the losing side, you want to use the nuclear option, right, to make sure that your side doesn't overpower you.
Oh yeah.
Marissa has said that y'all are so cool, and I don't
Oh,
disagree. We are. We're actually really cool.
hey, thank you,
He's wearing his
Marissa.
Bengali. I'm wearing a shirt that's a little bit more subtle, but since we're dealing with the demon of San Diego, I'm wearing my Slam Diego T-shirt.
Oh, the
Big
demon
fan.
of San Diego.
The demon of
Yes.
San Diego, and I think that's probably one of the best marketing things that we came up with just recently.
Oh yes.
Um, it was kind of like a really a toss around nickname that we kind of had here because he was in San Diego, and when we created him, I was living in Texas. I'm from San Diego originally. I never thought I was going to
Mhm,
return to my hometown,
mhm.
um, even after I got Bengali tattooed on me. Um, so it's been really interesting, especially like being downtown, going to places that I wasn't old enough to visit when I lived here, because there was like a age requirement because they serve alcohol, and being able to go to these places in Little Italy and down in the Gaslamp District and on all these things that I was trying to help Renee with when he was writing it, trying to like remember the things that were in those areas, Hillcrest and Mission Valley and all these boroughs, so to speak, of San Diego. Because most people that have like grown up in comics, especially with Marvel, they're dealing with New York.
Oh yeah.
So and most of those writers and artists are from New York, so they know everything about the five boroughs, and they know about the Bronx, Brooklyn, Harlem, things like that. Not a lot of people know about San Diego, where we have not everything's downtown, like most cities. So you have things like Hillcrest, and you have Mission Valley, and you have Imperial Beach, and you have Chula Vista and National City, and you have all these different, towns within towns that all kind of like make up San Diego. And I have to commend you, Renee, for someone who's never been here or lived here. I think you really encompassed San Diego culture and like the peak and key points of interest and like tourism, like stuff people know, and even some of the stuff that people don't know within this town. So, golf clap.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Because if I clap
thank you,
louder, I'm going to wake
thank
everybody
you.
up. I'm going to try not to do that.
Oh,
Say
thank
it
you,
again.
thank you.
You know?
Yeah. No,
All
but
right,
yeah,
man.
I just really wanted to show the city where he was at, that he was from there, and he was proud from the city that he was from. So that's why I like dove deep into asking you questions about the city and how it is, and what the roots of it all and whatnot.
Well, one of the key features you brought up right in issue one, how he got the mask, was a temple inside Balboa Park, which is home to San Diego Zoo is in Balboa
Mhm.
Park. It's a really big plot of land, and it's very
Yeah,
hilly. And the
yeah,
way he described it, I'm like, oh yeah, you could totally fit like a Mayan or Aztec temple in Balboa Park, and no
hmm,
one would have known unless it got like kicked over and you saw some of the architecture.
yeah. Like
So
it was like hidden by all the foliage and like the
yeah,
presence of yeah.
it just got grown over, and anybody who's ever
Yeah,
been to Balboa Park and have been outside like the key tourist areas, you can totally tell like it makes sense. Like yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a very hilly region. It's like but maybe I should get a permit and start digging around. Maybe I'll find that temple of which we found the mask of Bengali.
Find the actual man.
Right now, I just got a replica, and I don't think it's going to give me any powers. So.
Same here.
Okay, we got a comment here from Facebook from Mark McHale, our friend earlier from the United Kingdom. He says, as someone that's never had the chance to visit you guys over at the pond, I'm honestly tired of the likes of Marvel focusing almost solely on New York, preferably, and not only New York but Manhattan.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Yeah.
and hoping to visit next year. But work comes first. Also an artist, yes. And those are both work. Don't let anybody tell you different. You got a day job and you
Mm,
got your true job, which is being an artist. So I view
exactly.
it. Yeah, if you make it to San Diego, let me know. If I'm still here, I'm only 20 minutes away from downtown. I'll be a personal tour guide,
Yeah.
and I'll have a copy of each issue of Bengali. I'm like, okay, over here is where he encountered the basilisk. Over here is where he fought Gobu. You know, that'd be kind of cool. I would like to see that. They should probably do that in New York.
Hmm.
Like
Like the like little tourist spots
Marvel
of.
tours. Like, now we're entering Hell's Kitchen, where Daredevil protects the streets and blah blah blah. You know,
Here's the alleyway where he beat that guy half to death.
yeah. Here's where the Kingpin committed mass murder. You know,
And over there too. And over
over here's where
there.
Gwen Stacy died. You know, something like that. I think we're doing a lot of good work. You've been definitely putting overtime in, making sure that these characters are believable and relatable and entertaining. And I, as the president of this little humble company that you guys keep gracing us with your tributes and donations and buying our crap. Um, we really appreciate all the hard work they've been putting in. There was like what 4 revisions of the script as far as dialogue,
Oh yeah,
like
oh
even after it was
yeah,
drawn.
yeah. Because I was like, I didn't like the way he said that. Let me change it up.
Yeah, I remember getting
All
like
right.
emails like every couple of weeks, like, "Oh, I don't like it, man. Don't read that yet, and just delete it. I'm sending you another one."
Yeah. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm all like, did I just really write that? Like, I didn't like the way that scene or the way that fight scene took place. It seemed really like cliche or
Right.
cheesy. Let me change it up. And this.
No, it was pretty good. I was just like my biggest fear because I lettered this issue. So send all the hate mail to me if you don't like the lettering. Is I'm halfway through it. I was just waiting for Renee to send me a script revision. I'm like, hey man, like I made some changes to the dialogue here on page 22. And I'm like, dude, I'm on page 23. I'm like, what are you doing? No, but
But they're in
that
space
never
now.
happened,
No,
which is
no,
good.
no.
I just like to bust chops. But I was half expecting that when I was halfway through because I like to keep everybody that was involved in making the book. I like to keep them involved while I'm finishing it off. With the letters. That's really the last piece is putting the word balloons, the captions, the thought balloons, and all that stuff in there.
Yeah.
And I was half anticipating, just like I'm halfway through, man. Renee's going to send me a message like, "Hey, man, I was thinking about here on page 16. This dialogue didn't sound right, so I changed it. Here it is." Which I would have corrected, and because I trust the writers, I trust the artists um, to do what's best for that character. I mean, Jesus Christ, you've been living in Bengali's head for the last 5 years. So I say you're the foremost expert in how he would react and what he'd say and how he'd say it.
Yeah.
So
Thanks. Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's because it's at times I feel like I'm like I just want to bring out the best in that character,
yeah,
especially the heroic wise. At the same time, I really wanted to show what the mask is actually doing to him, and like some of the dialogue or some of the scenes that I wrote, I'm like, I could do it better. I could do better. I could do better because I want to give the public better. I want to give them my best.
yeah, and you keep pushing. Um,
Yeah.
each episode or each issue is better than the previous one, and they're all pretty good. So I can only imagine when we hit issue 10, 15,
Oh.
how this
Mhm,
character is going to advance.
mhm.
Um, what I really liked is the host Ben. Who, I just thought it was funny that we called him we nicknamed him Ben. His real name is, help me out,
Benito Vasquez.
Benito Vasquez. So Benny is what we usually call him,
Yeah, we usually call him
and
Benny. Yeah.
then he is the host for Bengali,
Hmm.
who also gets, like, in our private meetings, we just refer to him as Ben.
Yeah.
Hey, where are we at on Ben issue this? Um, no, what I liked about Benito is that he's got some family drama.
Oh yeah, he does. He
He
does.
got some mad family drama. Like,
Hmm.
this dude just wants to be an artist, and I can relate. The guy just wants
Hmm.
to be an artist, and all, like, his surrounding environment, his life is just crapping on him.
Hmm.
Trying to get him involved. He's got a dickhead brother, who's the heir apparent to the throne of their father. A very substantial businessman in the tech industry. And his dickhead brother wants him dead.
Yeah.
You know, so which pretty much kicks the ball rolling into this crazy little adventure of ours of Bengali. Because
Oh
if it
yeah.
wasn't for his brother wanting to kill him, he never would have come across the mask. He never would have put on the mask, and he wouldn't. Well, and then on the other side of things, he wouldn't be so crazily confused about what's going on in his freaking life right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. I feel that the greed is what drove him to the darkness, and it wasn't even greed. It was greed from his own family members, his own family drama that he wanted nothing to do with to begin with. He was trying to live his life
Right,
happily. He's grown to his own person and whatnot, and that's just that family drama that didn't concern him at all, that he didn't want anything to be a part of, ended up, pretty much almost ruining his life or turning not, well, yeah, ruining his life and just turned it upside down and pretty much became made him the avatar of darkness.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll do it.
Hmm.
Thank God we got creative minds how to turn tragedy into triumph, like with
Yeah.
Benito here. We got a
Yeah.
question here from Jeremy. How much thought goes into panel layout in regard to lettering? Do you plan the panels around where you anticipate the lettering to go? Um, I don't know. I can't speak for the artist because he's not on right now, but he's he's an affluent professional. He started out inking for Marvel and DC and Image. He's now into the pencils and inking. He's an illustrator now, full blown. Um, but speaking from personal experience, when I'm dealing with comic books, anytime I thumbnail or lay out a page, I'm reading from the script, but I also plan out where the word balloons are going to go, where the caption are going to go. So, like, I'll draw around that. It's like, okay, so I'll do a couple of sketches and I'll put the balloons in there and try and guess how big that balloon's going to be. And if it doesn't fit, well, crap, man, I'm gonna try something else. If I try so many different ways and it's still not going to fit, then we have to go to editorial and figure out how much of that information within that balloon is actually necessary for us to advance the story and plot.
Hmm.
So I've had to do that quite a bit as a letterer. Um, Writers do love to write a lot, and a lot of them don't anticipate how many words actually fit in a word balloon and still be able to keep a lot of the original artwork. So it's kind of a balancing act. You do have to sacrifice a little bit of artwork to get the story across, especially if it's super important. Um, luckily, with this issue of Bengali, I didn't have to do a whole lot of that. There was a couple times where I had to kind of like condense or reword what Renee was trying to say in for the characters and have it still come out as organic to his original ideas and
Mhm.
plot driving devices. So I hope I did a good job in that. Only you guys can tell me that after you get the book.
Mhm.
The campaign starts tonight, Pacific Standard Time, a minute after midnight, and it's going to go
Mhm.
for all the way till October 30th, till about 11:59. So right around the end of Devil's Night, going into Halloween. That's how long this campaign's
Nah.
going. We got some great um, rewards for everybody. I tried to keep it simple because I've learned in past crowdfunding funding campaigns that the more stuff that I offer, it gets kind of convoluted and it's no longer about the comic book. It's more about the cool crap that I offer on the side. So
Mhm.
um, I really wanted to maintain the focus on the actual book. So we have the digital copies, catch up, which is going to be issues 1, 2, and 3 altogether. Physical copy of issue 3, physical copies of 1, 2, and 3, and then for the first time in Apogee history, we're actually doing a trade paperback of the first 3 issues
Yeah.
of Bengali. So the completion of the first story arc. Um, well, first of all, this is the only title that we have in Apogee that's reached issue number 3. You know,
Mhm.
so it's a big milestone for us. We're super excited about it. The
Yeah.
trade paperback is going to be pretty cool. It
Mhm.
may be trade paperback with a foil cover, which is
Ooh.
we're just going to go all out. Who knows?
I like the sound of that.
You know, I did a little price checking, so yeah, we could totally pull off a foil one. We'll
Nice.
see how much interest we get
Mm.
in that option. It's like an extra $5 other than getting the 3 floppies, 3 individual issues.
Yeah.
You're going to get brand new artwork,
Mhm.
and we're probably going to throw in some extra stuff in there too. We might throw in, war drums, which I'm not going to go into detail because if you weren't following Free Comic Day in 2018, yeah, get the trade paperback, learn about war drums.
Oh yeah.
Give you a little bit more insight on what we're building here
Mhm.
over here in
Mhm.
the Apogee universe. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much what we got. We got some T-shirts going on in there too, and original artwork, original custom artwork. I've
Yeah.
lent my drawing hand to fulfill that. I didn't even put a cap on it. So, like, if 100 people back that tier, then I'm drawing 100 custom 11 by 17 pencils. And I put the option in there. You can either
Ooh.
have pencils or pencils and inks for no
Hey.
extra
Mhm.
charge on the inks. So, the first time in
Mhm.
my career, I've never charged extra for inks. So, it's a pretty good deal.
Mhm.
Actually, I can probably bring that up right now. Campaign preview.
Ooh.
All right. Let me do some wizardry here. It's my first time being a host for this, so bear with me.
Mhm.
Oh, nope, that's file sharing. That was the wrong thing. Share screen. That's what that's what I was looking for. All right, here we go. All right, so let me double
Ooh,
check
look
here,
at
make sure
that.
this is showing on here. Yeah. Let's see. Bloop.
Mm.
All right. Well, that's about as full screen as we're going to get. Goes live later on, in a couple hours, so it's not live
Yeah.
right now. This is kind of a preview
Mhm.
of of what we're doing here. So got the masthead telling you what the book is. You know
Oh
what we
yeah.
should do? We should probably play the trailer. So
Ooh, yes, yes. Let's
yeah,
play the
I think
trailer.
I think we should do that. Hold on,
Oh
let's
yeah.
let's play the trailer real quick.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's probably the best trailer I've ever done.
uh, it's
Not to
awesome, man.
toot
It's
my own
awesome.
horn right there. I
Mm,
was gonna go with something a little bit scarier, darker, more Halloweenish.
mm.
Um, but I listened to my wife. She's like, "Oh, what about this one?" I totally skipped over it, like one of the templates, and I'm like, "Oh, all right, let me check it out." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that could work." And then I
Mm.
started plugging in stuff, and then what I didn't have as far as imagery, I went out in my living room, turned all the lights off, threw on the Bengali mask that I have, and started filming stuff. Like when he's picking up the mask, is like, it was a dark ass room with a flashlight on, and then like I'm covering the flashlight with part of the mask, and while I'm trying to
Mhm.
like move it, and it kind of gave that like glare effect through the lens.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so like I was doing some like 1930s early days of cinema type special effects, to try and make it
but
work.
that made it awesome, though, honestly. Like the music and the like the font and the way it was edited, it gave that whole ancient evil, but at the same
Yeah.
time, is it really evil? Like it's a, like the ancient evil
Well, I was
corrupted
thinking like,
hero.
yeah, like
Mm.
ancient Egypt, maybe even like Babylonia, Samaria, something
Yeah,
like that.
yes,
It's
yes,
just to
yes. That,
allude to how old this mask is. It's like
yes,
prehistory. You know,
yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
so I thought it was really cool. It took a lot of edits. I sent it to a bunch of people. I had missed a scene at the very end, and it had the placeholder, which is just like this white head.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, it's supposed to be a close up of this. And I'm like, oh crap, I totally missed that. So I'm like, oh, hold on. So I put on my hood and I put the mask back on, and I'm wearing like a baseball T-shirt, So I had to change the settings to make it darker. Thanks iPhone for cinematic settings.
Yeah.
You the real MVP on that last scene. So the last scene on that is me. So I played Bengali twice in my entire life, and hopefully that's the last of it because I don't want to go to the gym to get that physique. Um, to play him further. My watches remind me it's time to go to bed. Yeah, no, there's business to be made right now. So you shut up, watch. Oh my lord, it's exciting, man. We tried to do a campaign for issue 2 on Kickstarter. It didn't pan out. I don't know why, because most of what I see amongst the fans of indie comics is they always complain that there's always a new issue 1 coming out, but there's never an issue 2 or issue 3.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, bet. So we put out an issue 2, and like, I think, man, we barely missed funding on that one on Kickstarter. I don't know if it was the goal was too high. I didn't market it enough. They weren't interested. Wrong time of year. I mean, uh, Bengali issue 1 campaign was right around this time of year in 2018, right around September, going in October, and it did
Yes.
well. It brought in a lot of money. I think we had something like 150% over our original goal. We sold it as a spawn-ish horror type comic, and I think it did live up to that. Especially now in issue 3. I mean, there's so much gore here. We saw in the trailer, like
Yeah.
Basilisk just wrecking shop, cutting through
Hmm.
people and ripping them apart. It was amazing. Um,
Oh, and that's not the last time you're gonna see Basilisk.
oh, spoilers, darling. Yes. When do you think we're going to see him next?
Oh, that's really too much.
Because too much spoilers. All right. Well,
Yes,
we don't
yes.
like spoiling our own product because then you're not going to buy it. You can just
Mm-hmm.
listen to our podcasts
Hmm.
and things like that. Um, no, he's an interesting character. I think Rich did a really good job just bringing out the absolute nightmare fuel of what that character is.
Oh yeah, I like the
Um,
I love that design. Yes.
like when I was doing the cover, I was looking over the artwork after it was colored, and I'm like, man, I can't replicate that. The only thing I can do is the hand. I can replicate the hand. So that's what I put on the cover. It was like Bengali and just like the basilisk hand just dripping in blood after he's just like ripped through like a dozen people.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and I'm like, all right, well, I hope the fans like it. you know. Uh, so moving on from that, yeah, the Basilisk is a pretty cool looking character. I didn't know that he didn't have legs until the artwork started coming in. I'm like, okay, all right, that could
Mm.
work. Then after it came back from the coloring process, I was like, holy shit, that all came together. That came together well, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
So, um, so I'm really looking forward to the evolution of this character because, like, at the end of this, there's really no definitive answer whether Basilisk is alive or dead. So,
Oh.
you know, not giving too much away because we
Oh
already said that
no.
he's going to open future issues. Um, so there's a lot of good. He's building a solid rogues gallery. Who
Hmm.
have we left out? What's left to be discovered in Bengali's rogues gallery?
Oh, that.
Without
Well,
giving
an
too much
assassin.
away.
Well, let's just say he's not gonna make a lot of people happy, especially in the country, government wise, and
Well, yeah,
also
because
occult
he's
wise.
getting a lot of media attention,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is something
Hmm.
that a lot of comic books, especially in the indie scene, they don't show the media coverage aspect of it. You know,
Hmm.
of these vigilantes or these gifted people or these heroes and stuff like that. You know, and
Yeah.
you've built quite a lore about him becoming the demon of San Diego because that's how he was
Mm.
referred to. He's this demon. He's this demon. You know, and then it's eventually
Yeah.
leading into he's the demon of San Diego. So now the city's kind of taking ownership of
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. The
We're
people
just
think,
getting
yeah,
a
I know
hint
it's
of
just superstitions and whatnot, and like slowly they start saying, oh, maybe he's not a superstition, because the way criminals are behaving, the way in issue two, how that one criminal was trying to escape, custody. He's like, oh, he's gonna
right?
kill me, he's gonna kill me, he's gonna get me. Mm.
And then Ben shows up, you know, and it's on film. Like there's cameras
Mhm.
rolling
Oh
because we
yeah.
see that in issue three, the
Hmm.
footage. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
here's footage of, you know, this demon, quote unquote demon, you know, interfering with law enforcement. You
Hmm.
know, so it's kind of building that urban legend that, you know, kind of like Batman or some of these other, you know, prolific superheroes in other companies. You know,
Yes.
I think that's probably one of the coolest things that you've brought into this is the media coverage. So you're seeing
Oh.
it not only from Bengali's side, the villain's side,
Hmm.
Denise's side, but now
Hmm.
the media's representation of this character,
Hmm.
which I think is pretty. I don't know if it's unique, but it's something we haven't seen in a while.
Oh yeah. Well, I just put an aspect of how would the media cover, like, if an existence of a of Bengali, or the existence of a vigilante who supposedly is supernatural, or has a demonic presence, how people would react. People that are religious, or that are superstitious, they're gonna, like, put on their tinfoil hats. Those conspiracy theories be like,
Right.
oh no, there's, like, this is a work of the government, or this is, oh, the end of times, or there's something's going on. It's alien. Something's going on in our little city
Yeah,
here.
and you've touched on that in every issue, and I think
Hmm.
you're just barely scratching the surface. I think you're probably going to bring more to that story
Oh
from
yes,
that
definitely.
aspect
Hmm.
going
Hmm.
on. You know, it reminds me a lot of Frank Miller's work, like The Dark Knight Returns.
Hmm.
You know, because like the first, I don't want to say 5 pages of that graphic novel was the media's representation of Batman. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and then
Hmm.
Todd did it with his first couple issues of Spawn. He brought the media in quite a bit, so he did learn a lesson from Frank. And I'm just wondering, did you draw that same inspiration from like Frank Miller's work or Todd's work?
Well, actually, yeah, because I read a lot of Spawn. Like, I read a lot of Venom. A lot of, like, people fearing, like, the dark, or, like, the creature of the night, somewhat. They're afraid it's just going to come at them. Even
Yeah.
criminals or whatnot. So I drew a lot of inspiration from that, and how, people would react or something like that. So
Well, it
yeah.
definitely shows, and I think it's done well. It's not done as an homage or an imitation gimmick. I think you put your unique storytelling spin on it, on how that's portrayed. So kudos to that. I think that was very well done. I think it felt natural. It flowed right into the story. So you're seeing it from the everyman's approach. You're seeing it like I mentioned earlier. You're seeing it from all the aspects of all the characters and main characters and supporting characters in this book, and then
Mhm.
with the media as well. Um, what's his name? Simon Bishop. I think he's the news host in issue 3.
Uh, oh
Simon
yes,
something.
Bishop Simon. Yeah, Simon
Simon
Bishop.
Bishop.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes. Simon
hopefully we
Bishop.
see more of him because I kind of enjoyed him, even though he doesn't. He's only got like a page and a half of time in the
Oh,
book.
like that guy. He's gonna be a
He's going
pain
to
in
be
the ass.
pain in the tuchus, pain in the
Yeah,
tuchus.
yeah. Any little thing Bengali will be like, oh, what does this mean? Is he working
Yeah.
for so and so? Like, and our
Would you say he's
city is
more
being
like a?
corrupted by this kind of creature.
Would you say he's like a J. Jonah Jameson, or
Yeah, yeah. He's like a
as far
J.
as like
Jonah
a
Jameson.
like a
Yeah, he's like a
civilian
J.
arch nemesis of a character that could really just pull him out of a wall and beat the hell out of him?
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be somebody that even the readers gonna be like, I really want to punch this guy.
Yeah, because I kind of got the air, the
Mm,
an air of arrogance from Simon, and it was like a
mm,
page and a half too to be able to pick up on that. Like, oh man, this guy's kind of conceited. He's really into
mm,
himself. He thinks he's
yeah.
untouchable, so he can
Mm,
just, eventually he's going to start talking shit,
yeah,
about Bengali, and you know,
mhm,
there's there's a part of that duality that's going to come after him. I hope,
mhm.
um, or maybe not. I could be completely wrong. Like just because I'm in the company doesn't know I know everything about what's going on with these characters. Um, and I like that. I like being able to approach it from a reader too. Um,
Mm,
yeah, it's good stuff. I like it when you're able to kind of put that reality in there because we're completely inundated by talk shows and talking heads, uh,
mm, mm.
even on not just on TV but on social media too, like Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's always somebody trying to give you their spin on what's going on in the world. And I think that character really encapsulates that. And I'm a huge fan of secondary characters that um, have a life of their own. They're not just a sexy lampshade, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I'm a big fan of that, and I think I know the readers definitely have mentioned that the secondary
Mm,
characters are right on par with the protagonist of each book.
mhm.
Where even some of them were like, "Hey, when are these guys getting a spinoff?" I'm like, "I'm not doing a spinoff with Simon Bishop. It's not happening." you know, Yeah.
It's
Just
just
turn on
talking.
TV, man.
No, Simon would be talking crap about everybody. Else would be the whole 22 issues.
No, but I do. Denise,
Mm.
um, she's a senior detective,
Yes,
not
yes,
like a
yes.
captain or anything like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. No,
So,
she's a senior detective.
senior detective. She's leading the case against the demon.
Hmm,
Just
hmm.
everything's just kind of like falling right in her lap, so to speak. Of all
Yeah,
these nasty things just happen to be when she's around, so now she's kind of tied to it.
yeah.
Um, I think she's a very cool character. I can't wait to see how her character develops, especially now in a certain revelation in issue 3 that you're gonna have to buy
Yeah,
to read about because I'm not going to give you
exactly.
spoilers now. Um, see how that relationship progresses. And for those of you that are just now being introduced to the world of Bengali, there's a tier for that where you can catch up and learn about you know the relationship between her and Bengali and the alter ego and
Issue
whatnot.
one
But
and issue those. Mhm.
yeah, yeah, issue 1, issue 2. I'm gonna personally get the trade paperback.
Me too.
As I rarely see indie books have enough material where they can do a trade paperback. So that's exciting not only on a business aspect but as a reader aspect too. So we're
Mhm.
gonna get a brand new
Mhm.
cover, a wraparound cover. Um, I don't know who's gonna draw it yet. It's probably gonna be me, and if I do it, I'm not doing digitally. I'm gonna take my time with it, and it'll be me taping 2 pieces of 11 by 17 comic board together and drawing all over that crap. you know,
And it's gonna be epic. That I do know.
it will be epic if I can get it in Photoshop to line up just right,
Mhm.
because that's really where the real challenge is. After I've drawn the 2 pieces, I have to scan them individually, and then
Yeah.
I get to put the puzzle together in Photoshop, and hopefully it's scanned correctly on each side, and I can line it
Mhm.
up. And okay, and then we're good. But it's a hassle. It's a hassle I love doing because it creates great art, and I think the world deserves great art. No, I definitely put 100% into it, just as it
Hmm.
shows that Renee here has put 100% in everything that he's written in this series. And I'm looking forward to more. I know he is. I
Oh
hope you
yes,
guys
definitely.
are.
Yes, because
So,
I can't wait to give you guys more. Because yeah,
give you more.
I
Give
write
you
not only for myself but for you guys because I love entertaining people and I love comic books as well.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
comics
much
love.
as you do too.
All right, so we're going to wind it down a little bit. Our other guest host is in England, so I know it's
Mhm,
quite a time difference, and he's
mhm.
sometimes these things happen, and it's fine.
Yes. Yeah.
So we were going to draw Bengali live. Mainly, he was going to draw Bengali live, while me and Renee talk about Bengali alive. Um,
Mhm.
because Rich has a very unique artistic approach in how he draws the mask. I was talking to him earlier today, saying like I can draw his body, I can draw his poses, I can do all those things. The mask, it's never the same when I draw it. I never draw the same mask twice. It's always different. I have not been able to solve the mystery of consistently drawing the Bengali mask in a certain way. And I have the mask right here, and even with it in front of me,
Well, there you go.
oh man, it disappeared. But even with it in front of me, I still have trouble drawing it, and he was trying to give me some tips on it. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna leave Bengali to you, man. I'll just draw Phantom Hawk. It's cool. I can draw that dude in my sleep. you know,
Another legendary title of Apogee
Another,
Comics,
I
guys.
wouldn't say legendary, but it's definitely a prolific one. It's definitely within the pantheon of awesome protagonists that we have here at Apogee Comics, along with
Mhm.
the Cardinal and the Crimson Guardians. And within the next year, we're gonna have um, Corvid and Sparrow.
Yeah.
Those ones
Mhm.
are. I'm very excited about that one. I've attached myself to that book, so I get to draw that one. And when we do this for that book, someone else will be interviewing me on why I decided to make the artistic choices that I made. Um,
Mhm.
Solarium Prime's out there right now, our space
Mhm.
opera, which is really good. We're working on issue 2 now, and currently in the mix, probably the one that's going to be coming out after this one is Quickwire, our speedster, because every comic book
Yeah.
universe needs a speedster.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting stuff. So we're gonna start winding down here because it's what it's past. It's almost 1 o'clock where you're at in the morning.
In 10 minutes. In ten
10
minutes,
minutes,
it'll be
yeah.
1 o'clock. Yeah.
I have to go to the day job, boo, tomorrow morning, and I got to get up early.
Same.
So
Same. Yeah.
um, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of coffee and monsters in the morning for sure.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I'd like
But
to
it's
thank
worth
everybody
it.
that
It's worth
yeah,
it.
it's totally worth it, man. I
Yeah.
will I will go with no sleep to make sure that you guys are entertained with our funny stories, our
Yes.
captivating stories, our intriguing stories, things like that, and to keep you interested in our company and the things that we produce, the '90s style of comic book entertainment.
Mm.
So every issue is like a Jerry Bruckheimer film, explosions, intriguing story, and mystery, and ooh, plot twists, you know,
Oh yes.
stuff like that. All the things that kept us interested in the '90s. For you young kids, go look up what the '90s was.
Awesome times.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Hold on, I'm slowly discovering my faith with Christianity. So I was wondering if your demon character is religiously inspired. Well, I'm going to put this up here, man. Maybe you can answer this for us.
Hmm. My favorite Christianity. So I was wondering. Yeah, yeah, but in the same, it's inspired with a whole looking within yourself, pretty much as a whole, as a person. Do you let your past mistakes judge you or whatnot? Do
Yeah.
you let that define you, your the innermost darkest thoughts, or you're better than that? You know. But I guess religiously inspired, yeah, a bit. Yeah, it's religiously
Well,
inspired.
yeah, there's a bit to it.
Yeah,
I think a
yeah.
lot of old tales, because like we discussed this quite a bit when we were
Mhm,
developing Bengali and where the mask came from.
mhm.
Um, Stuff that happened before the Big Bang, before the first light. There was
Yes.
another pantheon of gods, or deities, however you want to
Hmm.
put it. I don't think it really entangles with um, any type of religious belief in the common day. I don't think it interferes with Judaism or Christianity
Oh no, no, no,
or
it
Islam.
doesn't.
I don't think it makes any kind of commentary to that either. I think we're dealing mainly with things that happened before, and the way we wrote it and the way we designed it is so that it could fit with all like creation ideology within multiple religious sects.
Hmm.
So we didn't have to choose one. We didn't have to choose Christianity or Islam or Judaism or Taoism or any of the other religions out there that deal with creationism that have their own creation story. I think it was more
Yeah.
of a tie-in, something that can
Hmm.
be no matter what you believe in, you can understand that this this artifact, this mask, comes from something even older than creation and religion. So, um, because we looked at a lot of Lovecraft stuff too, like the old ones.
The old one, the old god. That's mostly what I looked into as
Yeah,
well
and
too.
we created a pantheon of that. I think the top of the list was in Cthulhu. It was Zedagoth,
Zedagoth, yeah. Hmm.
and then all these other, which you're going to learn about earlier, or not earlier, but later,
Oh
in
yeah. Hmm.
Solarum Prime, Bengali, and even the Crimson Guardians, is that
Hmm.
there's other masks out there that have their own uh, acolyte attached to it, their own influence. I guess would probably be the best way to say it. I don't know. What do you say, Renee?
Well, yeah, their own acolyte, their own avatar of darkness, wanting to bring back the light into the dark,
Yeah,
to turn off everything.
yeah, to you know consume everything the light touched,
Hmm.
everything that kind of pushed them further out into the darkness,
So
and
they
made them
consider
lose.
the light tarnished their darkness, their world, their lives,
Yeah.
their body.
So, but where we're at with Bengali is that we have one of those acolytes that is starting to be like, oh man, this light stuff is pretty powerful. Maybe I
Hmm.
should switch sides. But he's
Yeah.
so like that's one of the things I love about this character is not only is the host and the mask, the deity inside the mask, the entity inside the mask, they're in constant conflict with each other.
Oh yeah.
It's like Benito's like, maybe I should succumb to the darkness, and Bengali's kind of like, I don't know, maybe I should succumb and be a power of light. I don't know what to do.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so to see that constant struggle in there and how they converse with each other in the comic book is it's there's times of hilarity and there's times of self reflection where you're like, man, I've been there. You know, I've been
Hmm.
on that precipice. I've been on that razor's edge. Which side should I go to? So
Yes.
uh, I
Hmm.
think it's probably one of the cooler aspects of the Apogee universe is this dichotomy um,
Hmm.
between both of them because you got to start looking at the mask as its own character, you know,
Hmm.
and when they merge together, it becomes the protagonist of the book. But
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
it, it's really something to kind of like marvel at, especially watching it from this side of things and watching you create um, this mythos and ideology within world, and do the world building that you do. So.
Hmm.
Um, and hopefully the audience sees that. I hope you do. Like I said, we're going to try and wind down so all of us can get some sleep. Um,
Oh yeah.
Maybe Mark can go back to bed and get a couple hours of sleep before he has to do anything else in the day. But I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their evening and sacrificing sleep or food or whatever you sacrifice to watch our launch party here because that's what this is. We're throwing a party. So I've been drinking like
Hmm.
since 7. So I put in some work before this, because I'm super excited. 12:01 tonight, technically going in tomorrow on the 20th. This
We are
bad boy
going
goes live.
live.
It
Uh,
goes live. It's going to go live like Frankenstein.
Hell yeah.
So I'm gonna. I was gonna post a link, but I'll post a link when I get up. Um,
Yeah.
let you guys know where to go. Go to fundmycomic.com. Look up Bengali issue 3. Should take you right to it. As
Yes.
far as I know, we're the only Bengali on Fund My Comic. Go on there. look at the rewards we have. There's got to be something that you like. Help support this comic book. If you can't support it financially, definitely give it a like and a share on your social media accounts, your Twitters, X, Instagram, Facebook. Help us out. We want to keep telling this story. Like I said, the comic book is 100% complete. So the campaign is really just for a print run and distribution. Maybe put a little extra money towards the next issue. But really, what we're trying to do is get it printed, get it to you. Apogee standard now is we will not put a book on a crowdfunding campaign unless it's 100% complete, and the only thing left to do is print the dang thing out. So that's
Damn,
our
Skippy.
guarantee. That's the mark on the box. That's our
Yeah.
promise to you, and that's what we guarantee. So this book will get put out in one form or another. But we'd rather do it through the crowdfunding so we can reach as many people as possible.
Spread the good word of Apogee.
Spread the good word of Apogee. Hail Apogee. Hail Apogee.
Yeah.
So on that, Renee, is there anything else you want to tell our listeners and our viewers before we go? Something to entice them a little further into spending their hard-earned money on our product?
Well, I could just say this story has a lot in store for you. It's gonna knock you on your feet. So get ready, guys, and spread that and spread, like, share, and back our campaign.
That's right. Be kind, rewind. No, wait, that's from the 90s. That's blockbuster stuff. Be kind
Well,
and
that's also good
share.
advice.
That's
That's
also
also
good
good advice
advice.
too.
We want your VHS tapes and your Blu-rays.
Yeah.
So from here in the studio, I'm Nick Garber. I wish you a lovely night and a great rest of your week. And on behalf of Renee Garza here.
Rene Garza, thank you for joining our launch party. I can't wait for you guys to read it.
All right. We'll check in with you in a couple of days with an update on the campaign. Maybe I'll do a live drawing stream to entice you guys to come in a little bit more and tip your Witcher.
Yeah,
So,
that too.
all right. See you guys next time. Good night.
Make a next comic book Apogee. Later,
Damn
guys.
right. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Peace.